This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
So I'm not a fan of Andrew Yang. I get criticized by some, fewer and fewer, after they watch his antics and see what his motivations are. And it is kind of look at me, and it kind of always has been. More so than a normal politician with Andrew Yang. This includes him during this campaign when he ran as a Democrat for president, constantly leaning into weird stereotypes and, well, I'm good at math because I'm an Asian. Stereotypes are stereotypes. There's some good stereotypes. They all end up being hurtful. He apologized, had to apologize for saying that Joe Rogan's not a racist because he works around black people. It's nonsense. He said that Asian Americans, in the face of violent attacks in public because of the coronavirus, what they need to do to not be attacked and not face racism in our society is be more American. He said that in an op-ed. Because that's how you solve someone being racist against you. It's to lean into your Americanness, whatever that means. Andrew Yang's just as American as I am. You shouldn't have to wave a flag around and slap an American flag on your car after 9/11 because you're black or brown or Middle Eastern. You should be able to live unmolested. Go about your day unattacked by racists. You shouldn't have to alter the way you live your life, exist in society, because you might be attacked by a racist. But Andrew Yang wants you to be more American. Whoa. And he started a new political party, the Forward Party. In a moment in American history when we need everybody on board to defeat fascism, we need everybody on board to defeat Donald Trump, to defeat the anti-democratic strategy that is being developed to work against us this year in the midterms and in 2024 when Donald Trump inevitably runs for president. He's starting a third party. It's either because he doesn't fully understand the threat that we face as a country, or he understands it and he doesn't give a shit. It's one of those two things. By his own account, he can do the math. Luckily, we have people like Jim Acosta, who this weekend interviewed Andrew Yang. I cut just a couple of minutes out of an almost 10-minute interview, asking him about his motivations for this political party, asking him about the very things I'm talking about now. He gives vague, nebulous, meaningless answers when asked specifically about policy, about some of the things that are taking place right now in this country. And he fumbles and doesn't give specificity. If you want to be a leader, Andrew Yang, you come up with policy prescriptions because that's how shit gets done in America. Watch Jim Acosta taking Andrew Yang to task about his third party.
Yeah, but Andrew, you're going to have policy positions at some point. How does the Forward Party feel about Roe versus Wade? Should it have been overturned?
Well, I personally think that women's reproductive rights are fundamental human rights. But the Forward Party has not left or right, but forward stance on even the most divisive and contentious issues.
Well, what does that mean? Don't you have to take a position on something? Don't you have to take a position on something? You can't just say, well, this is a hot button issue, so I'm not going to take a position on it. If you want to run the country, you're going to have to make some hard decisions, Andrew.
Again, the Forward Party is about that common sense consensus majority view, which is very clear on abortion. It's clear.
What about guns? What about assault weapons?
On climate change. It's actually clear on just about every issue under the sun.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Because of the nature of our system.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Again, the common sense consensus majority is that there should be some rules around background checks and access to firearms. But we're not getting any of these things, Jim, because the two-party system does not need to deliver.
But it doesn't sound like you're taking any hard positions. It sounds like you're
trade power.
It sounds like you're sort of a fill-in-the-blank party. If somebody wants a party with no clear policy positions, you're it. But unfortunately, in the real world, you have to take a position on something.
Well, we're for the common sense consensus view on guns, abortion, climate change, but we're not getting a common sense consensus
what are those
result
positions?
on any of those things, Jim. And
those
Americans
are just sort of
fuzzy,
but those are fuzzy, nebulous. It sounds like you came up with something in a focus group. Common sense, middle of the ground. That sounds wonderful. That sounds great. But at the end of the day, don't you have to take a position on something?
Well, the great thing is the American people know where we want the country to go. And what we know that we need a more dynamic, truly representative system than we're getting right now, which is why the Forward Party is growing so quickly. Tens of thousands of Americans have signed up in all 50 states because we know that the two-party system is getting worse, not better, and we know we need something new.
Listen, bring it in. Bring it in, Andrew. I know you've heard the phrase, the devil's in the details. You can't just say, let's say you're president of the United States, Andy, and you're telling Congress in a State of the Union address, you're prescribing details of legislation that you want passed, specific numbers. And you say, let's just do the common sense consensus. How is that going to translate into legislation, Andrew Yang? How? You need details. You need to take a position. Be a leader. You never said, well, he said, should Roe v. Wade have been overturned? And he says, well, I personally believe blah, blah, blah. But the Forward Party, you're the leader of the party. You invented the party. Shouldn't it reflect real values that can be translated into policy? Should an 18-year-old be able to buy an AR-15 style assault weapon designed for war, designed for death and destruction? Should that be able to happen in America? Well, the common sense consensus, kind of a yes or no. This is a distraction. This is, look at me. This is the party of Andrew Yang. Luckily, there isn't much traction behind it. It seems like a vehicle for him to be able to sell his book by the same name as the political party. Andrew Yang is bad for America. Not taking a side when we're in a time in America where there's a need to take a side. I've talked about this ad nauseum. The day after the election, in 2016, November 9th, 2016, I switched from no party affiliation, no party preference, to Democrat because I saw the writing on the wall. I did the math, Andrew Yang, and I saw that this is not a season for third party nonsense. Pick a team. The battle will ensue politically, and you gotta be on a team. And Andrew Yang wants to distract. He wants to dilute the power of the only political party on the scene that can challenge Donald Trump and fascism and anti-democratic policies up and down the ticket. He wants to dilute that. He wants to take away. Listen, once we defeat fascism in American politics, third party it up, do your thing, throw away your vote. Good times had by all. But not now. Not when we have an ex-president being criminally investigated for violating the Espionage Act. Andy, do the f***ing math, goober. I think I'm getting too old for this. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, absolutely, you can email me the old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate you all. If you appreciate me, please consider supporting what I do here, supporting the mission of this program. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99, just $2 a month, pennies a day. Or you can click on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both those are great ways to help support what I do right here. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @Dollemore, all the way across the board. I'd love to see you there. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, share this video with Andrew Yang. That would be great. Anyway, be genuine. Take care of one another.